It's finished Manchester City 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. Vitor Pereira's unbeaten streak has come to an end. It was going to happen at some point. It was always going to happen. It was a tough game. I think, like in the first half particularly, there wasn't much between the teams really. We had those two chances where Bellegarde broke through a good square to Menezes. We had Renato hit the post as well. I said the people around me, that was the chances we should have scored. At the Etihad here, you're not going to get many chances like that. And then before you know it, you're 1-0 down before half time. It doesn't take a lot. And then that was it really. City it felt like in the first half particularly, City more clinical than us. That was the difference. It was the ball squared backs. The amount of times they played the ball out to Doku, and that was their main out ball they were looking for. It was every time the ball on the ball played out to Doku. What can we do from there? One-on-one situation to Semedo or Nouri on either side. That's what they were trying to do really, and that was it. That was their game plan. But we knew that though from previous years, because they get the ball out wide. Can we play it in? Can we square it back in to Haaland, where it was going to be there for those chances? But it was a strange game for Wolves. I feel like we definitely missed Larsson. Obviously missing the starting lineup. We had the out ball. The amount of times they got on the ball and we couldn't send it long. We tried to send the ball long, we had nowhere to go with it. We couldn't get the ball out of our own half. The ball would come back to Abdou or Totti or someone, and we try to play it short, trying to play ourselves in trouble loads of times, and we just couldn't get the ball out of our own half. I was crying out at half time for Vitor Pereira to bring on, I'd take Menezes or Bellegarde off and bring on either Roger Gomez, someone to get pacing behind. He did bring Roger Gomez on, he did bring Sarabia on as well, but he put him in different positions. We had chances, but there was a chance right towards the end of the game where I can't remember who played the ball across. We played it across anyway, and there was no Wolves player there. And I was thinking if Søren Larsson was on the pitch, that would have been the difference to win the game today. I didn't think City were amazing. They pressed us, they kept us in our third. They let us not me a chance to get out of our own half really, and that was it really. I mean, Wolves weren't miles off it. Kuna didn't do much second half. He was on it first half. But they said the clear-cut chances when Bellegarde was played through by Kuna. And I thought that was it. Then I thought it's the chance for us to score, and it didn't happen. So it was always going to come to end Pereira's run. What in fairness to what I can say is the Wolves fans were classing the away end today. Pereira was backing his name the whole time. The chants, singing, going. The Etihad, we struggle for atmosphere anyway because obviously they struggle with the fan base, but it was class from the Wolves fans. Really on it. We've got obviously home next against Brighton. Let's see how we get on against that one. Can we get more points on the board? Can we try and get the fan base back on? Well, not the fan base back on side, but can we get the feel-good factor going again? I still want to finish this season really strong. I want to try and keep the momentum towards the end of the season, and we'll see how we get on. Right, catch you on the next one. Up the Wolves.
It's finished Manchester City 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, in a day where we, in previous seasons, we have been disgraced. We've been rolled over like we weren't even there, given City far too much respect, sat off for 90 minutes and got completely dominated from minute 1 to minute 90. And in recent seasons we've seen that. It's been painful watching, whereas today I actually quite enjoyed it. I thought it wasn't the best game of football. I thought City weren't at their best, but they were still very good, but that's, you can say that for their season on the whole. They haven't been very good, but they've hit form at the right time like they always do. But I don't think we were poor by any means. I thought a few of our players had off games today. But when you're on a 6-game winning streak, it's going to end at some point. And some of these players have been performing perhaps above the level that we'd naturally expect from them at the start of the season. I thought Semedo struggled against Doku, but, most fullbacks do. I mean, the guy's so direct, he's so quick. His decision-making isn't always great, but today I thought he was absolutely excellent, and he would have given any Premier League fullback the absolute runaround. Andre and João Gomez, absolutely brilliant this season, but today they struggled. I thought they'd do better against an ageing midfield, I have to admit, but they weren't at their best. But that's all right, it happens. And the fact is, we've got nothing to play for this season at this point, bar a couple of Premier League places. Yes, they're worth 2.5 million, but we've seen, teams, when we were under Nuno, we just tail off at the end of every single season. We've finished every season so poorly. It's been so dull. And what Pereira has done, he's reignited my love for this football club. He's reignited my love for this football team. I'm sat here wanting each of the players to do well. Under O'Neill, I couldn't give a monkey's what any of those players did. I didn't care where they went with their careers. I didn't care how far they got with us. I couldn't care less, honestly. I diverted all my attention to other sports. I've got you know, I found other sports way more attractive than watching Wolves every week. I still sat and watched. I'm a fan, but I didn't watch like I cared. I just watched for the sake of watching. And the fact is, I watch now, and I want us to do well. I want us to win, and I enjoy watching us play football. It wasn't the best game of football, granted, but I didn't think we were disgraced by any means. You know, 1-0. You know, when we could, it's just a lesson in putting your chances away, and we didn't today. We had a couple of really good chances in the first 15 minutes. We looked excellent the first 15 minutes, really gave City some problems, but we didn't put those chances away. Poor pass by Bellegarde. You know, for the first one, that should have been a goal. But yeah, I thought the defence overall were excellent today. Agbadou, absolutely excellent. Totti, really, really good. Ait-Nouri, bar a couple of, you know, lapses in concentration where he's trying to do too many tricks and flicks. But when the guy beats his man 8 times out of 10, he's got the confidence to take him on. And I'd rather that than a guy be shy with the ball, you know. So a lesson in not putting away your chances. We missed Strand Larsen. But hopefully that's nothing too serious. It was a groin strain, I think. So hopefully that shouldn't be too bad. Maybe a couple of weeks out, keep him fresh, ready for the last couple of games of the season. But yeah, no disgrace today. I'm not too disappointed with how he played. I thought it was a poor game of football overall. City came in with a plan. They got the goal, and you know, they looked good for a good period. But then it was just Operation Kill the Game. Don't let us have a sniff, and they did well at that. But it can't say, you know, you can't say we weren't too bad, you know, and yeah, it's, you know, I've still got a lot of hope for the rest of this season. Hopefully we can get to, you know, 13th if we can really push. But there's a lot to be excited about with this Wolves team, and I'm really looking forward to the start of next season now. Whereas, you know, seasons past, I could never say that. So, yeah, we lost today, but I ain't lost any hope whatsoever. Up the Wolves, and I'll see you soon.
So Manchester City 1, Wolves 0 at the Etihad. Wolves' 6-game winning streak comes to an end tonight, in rather boring way, really. Manchester City need to win to finish in the top 4, and they did, and wasn't much really more to it. They kind of nullified the game. A bit like disappointing from their point of view, I would say. Like, I know they need to win, but like people say, Manchester City do things with a bit more class and vigour, but they just really haven't got that this season. And for the second match in a row this season, I think they were quite lucky to beat Wolves, actually. Of course, overall they're more possession, but especially like first half, Wolves missed a really good opportunity. You can't miss that sort of situation where Bellegarde, if he could have had it back, should have been more decisive. He got caught in two minds, I think, trying to play Marshall Monetzi, and that was the big moment of the game in the first half for Wolves. Just unable to take their chance. Ait-Nouri hitting the post, having the shot blocked. Cunha hitting the post in the second half. Wolves did attack and did make situations for themselves, but really not as many as they probably needed to deserve to get a point out of that game. Manchester City really created very little apart from Jeremy Doku. Like, Pep hasn't utilised him at all this season. He's their best player, I think, in an attacking way, because the others have all been very poor this season, yet he is the best. Every time he was found tonight, Semedo and Doherty both found it really, really difficult down that side. Rodrigo Gomez, when he came on, found it difficult to defend against him and his direct style of play. And yeah, that caused Wolves a lot of problems this evening. Andre just caught on the ball in midfield. Semedo very high up the pitch, which is what the risk you run when you're playing with wing backs. And just De Bruyne spreads it out to Doku, cuts inside, does very well, to be fair, and a good finish by De Bruyne. And yeah, that was the only goal of the game. City win. And yeah, well, Wolves, like Ait-Nouri, people might argue a bit fortunate not to get sent off. I didn't really see it like that. I thought it was accidental, and well, actually, surprisingly, the VAR I thought gave a decent explanation as to why it wasn't. It was accidental and no force, and I totally agree with that. I think that was pretty much the way of that tackle. But overall, yeah, Wolves didn't embarrass themselves. They played decent, like okay. But yeah, expected more, actually, I would say, from Manchester City. Wolves give a decent account of themselves. But ultimately, even bringing Guedes, Hwang, Sarabia, Rodrigo Gomez on, couldn't really get that one big chance in the second half. Had a corner at the end. The referee just, when the handballs at the bottom of the edge of the box at 95-10 and blew it up, of course. But yeah, just one of them, innit? Brighton next, and they go to Palace and then finish the season. Home to Brentford. Look, 6 wins in a row. You can't really complain about losing at the home of Manchester City. But yeah, people might look back on the first half and go, well, if Wolves could have taken one of their chances, it might have been a different story. But alas, they didn't. Manchester City 1, Wolves 0.
Unfortunately, I've seen the light tonight, and that is that Marshall Manetzi is just not very good. My problem with the front line today is that Cunha was very lazy at times, and Marshall Manetzi, although he's very good at pressing, when you play a team that can just play around the press, he becomes useless. So against those like lower quality teams, you know, your West Hams, your Ipswiches, your promoted teams that we've beaten on this win streak, he's been great because they don't have the ability to play around the press. I have to say though, Man City made his press useless today, and therefore made him useless because he doesn't really have the technical ability to play at this level. What I would say is that the best player on the pitch tonight, bar Kevin De Bruyne, was Andre. I thought he was fucking brilliant tonight. Just everywhere, tackles were solid. Even made João Gomez look quiet, to be honest with you, who I don't think had the best of games, if I'm entirely honest. But I thought Andre was perfect. I thought Agbadou was great as well. Their goal is just great work from Doku, who actually had a pretty solid game. And then, you know, the one person you probably don't want the ball to fall to in the box is Kevin De Bruyne in that situation. I think if it fell to Marmoush, he probably would have skied it over the bar again, like he did the 17 other shots that he took tonight. So it's just unfortunate. It's an unfortunate 1-0 loss, and we didn't really create that much, especially in the second half. I mean, we probably should have scored, definitely should have scored. I mean, I don't know what Bella Booty is doing, putting the ball across the box to Manet. I mean, it's like, literally, I think even I could have made the pass. So the fact that a Premier League footballer hasn't been able to put a sweaty goal across the box, for any other word, I don't know how to describe it other than that, is severely underwhelming and disappointing, because we should have been taking a 1-0 lead into half-time. But, I mean, full trust in Vitor Pereira. I think he coached a 2-1 win today. And I think it's just really unfortunate that Jurgen was not able to play today, because I think if he played, then we would have created a lot more opportunities going forward, and we probably would have got something out of the game, at least a draw. So it's unfortunate. And Cunha had some bright moments like he always does, but just couldn't find that perfect spark tonight. I mean, the post was our nemesis tonight, and that's just the way football goes. Sometimes we didn't get very lucky. I mean, we got lucky at points with the Rayan Aït-Nouri, which in my opinion probably should have been a red card, but we got away with it, which is great because we get to put him in the shop window for the next 3 games. And probably end up getting 60 to 70 million for him in the summer, and then Cunha goes as well, and then let's see what happens in the summer with the rebuild, because there's a lot of players that need to go, including those that came on tonight, like Gonzalo Guedes, Hwang. Both of them don't really have a place for me at this club anymore, and Fabio Silva will also go, so you're looking at bringing in a couple of bodies in the forward lines. We need a winger, we need a striker. Yeah, there's a lot of work to do on the rebuild, but overall tonight, I'm not severely disappointed with the performance at all. I thought it's a significant improvement on where we were last year. I think we lost like 5-2 or 5-1 last year. So significant improvement, but yeah, ultimately just not enough tonight. But let's continue the good vibes and the good form into the last 3 games of the season, and try and finish as high as we possibly can.
Well, it's finished. Man City 1, Wolves 0. Disappointing, really, which isn't what you normally say after we've lost away at City, because we've normally been absolutely battered, to be fair. But yeah, disappointing, because we could have got so much more out of the game, and that's what's the disappointing thing, really, you know. And the big one for me is that Manetzi chance, and it's not his fault at all, it's Bellegarde's, but a really, really good play from Cunha in the middle of the park. Challenges really well, works for it, you know, battle in, which is what you want to see. Wins the ball, brilliant ball through to Bellegarde, who holds his run really well, and all he's got to do is square it to Manetzi, and he could have had a tap in. But yeah, so disappointing. That's an easy pass, really, for a player of Bellegarde's quality, or really any Premier League player, even professional player, let's be honest, just to roll that ball across, and he would have had a tap in. So yeah, that's the frustration, really. Obviously, Aït-Nouri hitting the post, don't necessarily blame him for not scoring, but hitting the post, and then another one cleared off the line on the follow-up. So yeah, just really disappointing not to go 1-0 up. And you always felt really, the more that first half went on, that having missed those chances, you know, they were coming harder and harder to come by, and City were getting more control of the game. They weren't great by any stretch, don't get me wrong. They're definitely not the City of seasons gone past. But yeah, they get one good chance really. Doku down the wing. He really had a really good game. He ran Semedo ragged and did the same to Gomez really when he came on. Yeah, got down the line, pulled it back. And the only frustration really, two frustrations really for their goal, Andre, who I thought was brilliant up until he went off. But just giving the ball away and giving it just away a bit too cheaply, really. You know, he's got to do better than that in the middle of the park. You can't be losing the ball there. But once he does give it away, no one even realised De Bruyne's there. From start to finish, just no one realises that he's there, and he just goes in and taps it in the back of the net. So that's the frustration really for the goal. But other than that, we restricted them to absolutely nothing in truth. It wasn't a great game. We didn't really create anything in the second half either. You know, Kuna hit the post as well, but I think the keeper probably would have saved it, if not anyway. Glad to see VAR actually use a bit of common sense for once. Aït-Nouri's never meant to stamp on Silva there. Hasn't even looked at his leg. Hasn't meant to stand on him at all. Yes, his foot goes a bit further out than you'd expect, but Aït-Nouri is only ever looking at the ball. So despite Carragher's nonsense on Sky, never a red card. Just shouldn't have, you know, just VAR made the right decision, as did the referee. So fair play to them. Yeah, but other than that, as I say, a bit of a nothing game really. Agbadou, absolute quality today. Some of the balls he played, don't get me wrong, some of them were terrible, went straight off the pitch, but some of the balls he played were sublime today, and the composure on the ball, just you know, when City are closing him down, he just takes it round somebody and lays it off. But yeah, I'd say a bit of a nothing game really. Huffed and puffed a little bit at the end without ever really kind of getting anywhere and threatening, but say a good enough performance, and at the end of the day we're safe. That's all that really matters. You know, the result today is what it is, and we didn't disgrace ourselves at all, and as I say, it was a good performance. But yeah, safe. Never thought we'd be where we are at this stage of the season. I really thought we'd go right to the end, battling for every point. So fair play to Pereira and the boys, you know, absolute quality really. And yeah, on to the next one.